Hello, this is Inside News with Dale Matthews. I'll try again. Hello, this is Inside News with Dale Matthews and Mike Jones. Sometimes there's a little delay here. You can't tell if you're on the air or not, but I'm glad
Right.
that Mike is here. Mike, are we on the air or not?
Yes, I believe we are. But I, on the other hand, am so ready for this show.
Yes, because of this
Yeah.
logo over my shoulder.
Oh, no,
Today,
I was just, I was just.
oh, okay. Well, today is Wednesday, and so there was a weekly business session, but just yesterday, this fellow Ron Fox, who's leaving So Ready, Southern Oregon Regional Economic Development Inc. People either love So Ready or they hate So Ready and think it's a waste of money, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, this will be probably the last time that this Grinning guy will be giving some kind of yearly report to the county commissioners about So Ready, and we're going to play as much of that meeting as we can for you. And as we often do on this show, we're playing back videotape and laughing about it. And that's from the little back room. But before we do that, yesterday, the days are all running together for me, Mike. KOBI did a story about the upcoming safety levy that's going to appear on the May ballot. There's a safety levy on the May ballot? Yes, there is. And the way they led into this is they said a new safety levy will appear on the May ballot, and it's put up by the Three River School District. And it's going to pay for armed retired police officers to roam about the school district campuses in Josephine County. And the school board approved the levy for the May election at Tuesday night's meeting. It would be a 3-year levy. It would pay for 6 deputies to patrol the 13 campuses. Each officer would be at a variety of sites for about 3 hours a day. They would be employed by the sheriff's office. Dave Daniel is getting involved in this. And the idea is that you would pay an extra 5 cents per thousand of assessed value, 5 cents. And so that would raise almost $200,000 for such things. Mike, what's your initial impression there, bud?
Well, I'm kind of mixed feelings on this because here's the thing that you can't help gleaning from just an examination of this is that they're getting a heck of a deal on these guys.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Good point, Mike.
Yes. And I think that, if they can get a deal, that kind of a deal on those guys to be placed in certain, places in the schools or whatever, why can't we have, 1 or 2 of these guys to be placed, on patrol or stationary to respond to calls in Cave Junction?
Ding, 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 ding. Exactly. Yeah. And that was the gist of the phone call. For years, I've been talking with local media people. I tried to talk with Jim Moore over at the Courier, and that was useless because he wasn't going to print any stories. I tried for quite a while to talk with Dan Mancuso at the IV News. Then Dan got elected to be head of the Chamber of Commerce out in IV and completely turned. He is now the opposite of anything that we've ever talked about. Hates me. Partly because he told me, and I repeated it, that he couldn't print some stories because his advertisers wouldn't like it. And I said, Dan, that's not a newspaper guy, that's an advertising guy. He doesn't like that, and he denies he ever said it. And yes, of course, he said it. So I've been trying to talk with a variety of people for years, and I'm going to tell you about the phone call I got today, which confirms everything that we've been saying on the show for the last year or more. From the head,
really? Everything?
Everything, every last little thing, including Mike's colonoscopy, everything.
Everything.
From one of the TV guys. But first, with that lead in about what's going to happen with this levy, this new levy, this 5-cent levy, just 5 cents. That's all that it is. It's just getting a foot in the door. Here's Cassie Nelson on location for reasons that defy description here in Grants Pass. Cassie Nelson, take it away.
We've seen several school threats made and even carried out over the years here in Oregon. The board is hoping to make it so campuses much like this one have easier access to armed officers. The superintendent says it's a preventative measure to help keep students safe. Kevin Marr says it's a scary time to raise a teenager. His daughter is a junior at Hidden Valley High School in Grants Pass.
You worry about it. You know that sometimes there's nothing you can do to stop people who have evil intentions at times.
That's why he's in favor of a school safety levy passed by the school board Tuesday evening to go on the May ballot. The 3-year levy would place armed retired officers on the Three Rivers School District campuses in Josephine County.
We're long overdue for trying to be proactive in protecting our kids.
The officers would be employed by the Josephine County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Dave Daniels says they would hire on 6 deputies to patrol the 13 campuses. The deputies would always be rotating and moving from school to school and would be hired and trained just like any other deputy.
As well as an extensive background to make sure that these people still hold true to the same values and morals and have the character to do the job, especially around our children.
Taxpayers in the Three Rivers District would pay 5 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. That's about $10 a year for a home valued at $200,000. Marr says he thinks every penny is worth it, and that his high school daughter is in favor of it too.
If we don't take proactive action,
Oh, well, that's good.
we beat ourselves up and say, what could I have done?
Sheriff Daniel says he hopes to have those deputies trained and ready to start patrolling by the fall of this year. But again, it's up to voters to decide if they want to pass that levy in May. In Grants Pass, Cassie Nelson, NBC5 News.
Live from Grants Pass, live from down the hallway, live from inside our news studio. They do that. Why are they live from inside their news studio, Mike?
Well, this show is live right here. I'm live right now.
We're more than 12 feet away. Look, here's the point. You saw Kevin Marr. Who is Kevin Marr? Kevin Marr is big time a central Democrat Party functionary. He is big time into unions. He's and obviously big time with the school district. And so, yeah, he's pushing for this.
I'm sorry. Is that the gentleman? Is that the gentleman we just saw?
Yes, Kevin Marr, right? The person that they interviewed. The audio levels were going up and down all over the place. Got nothing to do with us. That's there.
It was horrible.
Yeah, that was every place. Okay, so so her stand up from outside, from live from the dark parking lot. I never mind. So anyway, they really would like this. Now, did you notice that they were saying that these people are going to be hired by the sheriff's department? They're going to be managed by the sheriff's department. And we're going to get 6 of them for less than $200,000. Really?
Yes, I did notice that.
Are they going to ride around in their own vehicles? How are we doing this? And why aren't we doing a lot more of this? So,
you know what? I'd have been a lot less suspicious of this until you throw the union guy in there. And you know, it's really why? I mean, that guy had to pop his head up, and now I have to wonder, you know, what are you doing?
So when I got this call from this guy at KOBI, he said, "What in the world is going on here?" And I said, "What do you think?" He says, 6 deputies for $200,000, less than 200. Why don't they do this all over the place? I said, aha, finally. I said, you know, the problem with you guys, he's a friend of mine, but they usually can't run stories. Can't run stories. No, because his editorial board won't let him run stories. When I called him and told him about the Grants Pass water plant, they can't run that story. When I called and talked to him about the vaping and how they're going to redefine things like strawberry juice as tobacco, he can't run that story. They won't let him run that story. He's the head news guy, but they won't let him run it. So I said, you guys have been laughing at us in Jackson County at the TV stations for years. about, oh, those stupid people over in Josephine County. This is what I told him. And I've talked to him about this before. He admires what we do, but we can do stuff he can't do. They won't let him run those stories. And I said, they're not putting him in the Courier either. Well, maybe we can run it if it's in the Courier.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, good luck with that. But he said, I'm now understanding what it is you've been saying. This stinks. And I said, yeah. And I said, we've been telling you the reason that we didn't want to vote for these levies is because these things don't make any sense. How can we get 6 deputies to patrol schools? And he said, why are they at the schools? I said,
yeah,
because there's rampant crime in the hallways.
Yeah, yeah, that's where the logic breaks in this thing here, is that if we were having huge problems in the schools, that'd be something to focus on. But why not put these people out in the community? And if there is an issue that pops up at some of these schools, then take the people and put them over there. I know what they're thinking, and it's they're tapping into the fear of every high school child's parent fear, and that is that somebody's going to come in with a gun and start shooting the school up, and
even worse, someone's going to come in and insist on using the girls' restroom, although he's a guy.
Well, no, they've already got that taken care of. All you have to do is say, I identify as a woman. There you go. You're done. You can now use the woman's No, I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding on that. I'm not. But
I got a new
hobby. In any event, I think that's what they're tapping into, and
it's fair.
Yeah, they can't get away from campaigning on fear. They just can't do it. They're addicted to it, some might say.
Well, we told you on this show before, I was sitting in that little back room when they were trying to pass the last levy, and they had this hookup with Salem, and they were talking to the commissioners there, and they were saying, you're having trouble passing a levy in your area. Yeah, we sure are. Well, here's the key to that. What you need to do is you need to work in fear and children. I'm not making this up. Mm-hmm. This is how they've been able to do it in other places. The next day, they were tired. Oh, and think about the children, and think about the fearful things that can happen. Yeah, that's what this is about. And so this guy says
it's very busy at the badcounty.com newsroom, and Dale is appearing live from there tonight.
That's right, I'm live.
So
all right,
that's what's going on there. Just ignore that.
Yeah, it's probably Mark again giving me an update about what's happening at some meeting that he's at. Look, this guy out at the TV station, the real news to me is not that they're trying to press another thing on us, or that they've got problems at the schools. Now, if there's problems at schools and we don't have a juvenile detention center, what are they going to do with those students? Catch and release? Let them loose in the stream to go meet somewhere else? Oh, no, that's salmon. Anyway.
They'll do what they do right now and have been doing for years. I missed all the huge issues that we were having at the county schools. I haven't, I guess maybe I haven't been watching the news.
You missed that day at school? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I missed a few days at school, but that's a whole nother story that we won't get into. But no, I don't think there's a tremendous crime problem in the schools. And I don't think there's a tremendous crime problem in the county. However, there are a couple of issues, like on Facebook here. Over the past couple of days, I've been in this conversation about people saying, Dutch Bros has been robbed a couple of times, by the same people coming back at gunpoint. And so what do you do about that? And they're, complaining about how, they don't have any law enforcement down there or anything. And then the people in Cave Junction know that they're not, that miraculously isn't going to change even if a levy passes. So then they're talking about the alternatives and should they rotate people through there, armed people to hang out by the Dutch Bros. And I guess it was a Dollar Tree or something like that was robbed down there. And, isn't
that inside the limit?
Yeah, it is, and check on it that way. Or if we're doing something like this situation with the 6 deputies for a couple $100,000, why can't we have one down there to put people on notice that that they can't get away with that?
One of the answer. Because it would solve the problem. And unless you have got a problem, people are not going to vote for this.
Well, somebody mentioned that there's a gal down there that I believe works at the Radio Shack or one of those places down there who is packing all the time and strapped right on outside for everybody to see. And I suggested in this chat room that everybody, maybe guns are the answer here. If the people feel like they're going to pull up to Dutch Brothers and somebody's going to be pointing a gun at them at some point in the near future, they probably won't do it. And,
coffee and gun shop.
Right. And listen, I'm more than happy if one of those guns being pointed at them is owned by or possessed by one of these deputies that we're getting for a heck of a deal.
Yeah, but here's the thing that makes that really strange to me. They say that the city police are fully staffed. This is in the city.
Right.
So if they're fully staffed and this is in the city and they know there's a problem, they know there's a repeat.
I'm sorry. There's a little bit of confusion. No, it's in the city of Cave Junction.
Oh, well, they've got a contract deputy there. And that contract deputy is for nobody except for the citizens of Cave Junction. And how big is downtown Cave Junction? They don't have a coffee place that's way off in the hills someplace. It's there, and you can walk from one place to another in Cave Junction.
You can throw a rock from one end to the other of Cave Junction, basically.
If you have your county vehicle parked in front of the county building, you can see the Dutch Brothers from there.
Yes, both ends of the town. That's right. You can. Yeah, it's a little bit silly. I don't know why there's that much of an issue down there. I mean, they should have. Part of the problem is this officiality that we have in all things government now, where you can't just take a couple of guys, Bill and Frank, and deputize these guys, and you keep on down there, and one guy's on there from midnight to 5 a.m. and the other guy's on at some point during the daytime. That sort of thing, and you've massively reduced, because it won't take very long for the word to get around that town that somebody who's packing heat is going to be here in 1 minute. That's a deterrent. And, if they have one of those people on, in addition to the contract deputy, that just doubles the fear for these guys. So I think Cave Junction's problems are pretty easy to handle. But they don't really want to handle it because that's counter to we need to get rid of this element of government. This type of governing in the county is that we need to allow things to get crappy in one particular area so that we can force everybody in the county to pay more on their property taxes.
We know this is not just a theory. We know that this is not just a theory, because this is what Don Reedy said to the senator that come in. Stop giving us good news, because we can't pass a levy when you do that.
Yes. So, yeah. There's nothing new under the sun.
Well, the new thing now is, finally, at least one of the TV stations does understand what the heck it is that we've been talking about here, because it doesn't make any sense to this guy either. And he says, well, if they could do that, then they could do this. I said, well, then they've been not telling you, but they're not telling you the truth. I said, because they always thought there was something wrong with us.
I'll believe that when it's reflected in their coverage.
Well, it's not going to be.
Call me. Yeah. Okay. Well,
it's not going to be. There's going to be more stories like this one.
I'm glad the guy doesn't think we're evil anymore or something.
No, he doesn't. In fact, he always says, I admire you guys. You're out there way ahead of us. You're doing stories that nobody else is doing. You're actually reporting the news, and they're reporting live from the parking lot. Okay. Well, we got that going for us. Woof-woo. Okay. So ready. So this guy, Ron Fox, makes his final report to the Board of County Commissioners. This is from the little back room. And so what we're going to do, and what we excel at here, is we're going to play back tape and laugh, play back tape and laugh, and we'll play as much of this meeting as we can. The big question that you should be asking yourself is, why is it that Simon Hare went along with these guys? Because he always said we weren't getting anything out of this group. We weren't getting anything out of this group, and we ought to drop out of this group. In addition, I'm just describing who the players are to you. Cheryl Walker is part of the board of So Ready. So she's entirely with So Ready. And Keithick, well, is he really there?
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, February 16th, 2016. It's 9 a.m. Welcome to the Josephine County Board of Commissioners General Discussion. On the agenda, first thing this morning, we have the Josephine County report from So Ready. We have with us this morning Ron Fox.
Good morning, Commissioner. Thank you very much. So, Commissioners, I appreciate your opportunity to come and give you an update on what we've been under tasked to do for the county over the last month. I've given you a packet of.
Oh.
I'll try to walk through it
There it is, back again.
fairly quickly, and then be able to answer any questions you might have. On the outside of the top cover is just the sort of run.
Mike, sorry to ask you this question, but is there a way I can boost the audio a little bit on this?
Yes, you can. Double click on not the preview, but the down on the in the lower bar. Double click on that video, and then over on the side there should be or lower right audio options. Hang on a second. Let me just check on this and see.
Pardon us, everybody.
Yes. Oh, okay. Here's what you want to do. You want to double click. Don't do that because then you're not going to hear me. You open up that window, and then on the tab on the left hand side, go up to General, then Audio Settings, and then you can bring it up.
Oh, wow. I could bring it up a lot more. Okay.
Yes,
let's see where we are now.
I usually go about 12. I usually go.
Oh,
12.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for explaining it to me.
Well, I do, but I also have a mixer here in which I can then move it up and down if it's too loud. So you might want to go like half of that or whatever. So.
All right. Well, we'll see in just a moment. Everybody, hope you took notes. Here we go.
Yes.
Down of activities and achievements for the calendar year 2015. As Commissioner Walker knows, since she's regular attendant to our board meetings, we've sort of rebranded the functions and activities that we do on behalf of building a strong economy in the region to 3 words, which we feel does a good job of describing. So those 3 words are contained in this document. The first one is prosper, and the key to that is being out visiting with companies in your communities to understand what challenges they're facing and where their opportunities and threats exist. In the last 12 months, we visited 40 businesses here in Grants Pass and Josephine County. That's out of about 113.
Hey, Dale.
Yes, sir.
Could I have you pause for a minute? We're frozen here. And what you'll need to do is go down and click on external.
Sorry about that.
And if it asks you to, there you go.
Okay, I think we're okay again. By the way, just as a note to everybody here, I'll go to Mike so that you can see his shining face. They visited, oh boy, now I'm going to go back. Okay, they visited for $25,000. They dropped in on or visited, which means they could also call them on the phone, 40 companies in our area, which is about 1/3 of the companies that they recognize as companies, as So Ready recognizes as companies.
Hi, I'm the guy from So Ready. Hey, are you interested in moving to Grants Pass? No.
I'm already in Grants Pass.
Okay, see ya.
These are companies that are already here.
Oh, okay.
And they're calling them. because they got to justify their $25,000. Okay, so when you get new commissioners, there's an instant place where you could save $25,000.
Yeah, it's such a scam. I don't understand why it just isn't well known, you know, and it's this thing like, I want to be able to say that I did something. That's pathetic. Okay. I would prefer that you did nothing. At the end of your, you know, first term, you tell me all the nothing that you did. Give me that report. That's the report that I want. Please.
Well, at least to be honest, look, when Michael Smith was with So Ready, he's no longer with So Ready. I remember when he showed up at the Smoke Jumpers Museum at one of the meetings of the Illinois Valley Airport Board. He showed up, and the smoke jumpers, they're being jumped on now by the commissioners because they supported the population instead of the politicians. But he went there and he said, I just want to be sure that everybody here knows that we've always been here. And they're looking at each other, who the hell is this guy? We've always been here and we've been working with you. And they were telling people that the success with the Smoke Jumpers Museum was partially due to So Ready, which is total lie. Had absolutely nothing to do with that. And he got such a negative response from the people there that he never came back. Was it just a coincidence? It could have been. Well, Dale Matthews, I wasn't going to come back. Okay. But they were trying to take credit for yet another project that they didn't have anything to do with at all. This was citizen original. This was real grassroots guys. And So Ready was trying to say, well, that's partly due to us. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And so these guys have been trying to claim for a long time that they're the economic heart of the community. They've redefined themselves, all right. They're regional economic development place. So anybody interested in, first they go to Jackson County. First they start in Medford. If there's anything left over, then they're going to take them on a little tour and buy them a piece of pie or something at Grants Pass, and then go right back to Medford and Jackson County where all the stuff is happening. Our $25,000, you can take it from me. I've been at all these meetings. What a lot of blather. Cheryl's on their board. And so we're going to continue giving them as much money as they ask for. All right, back to Ron Fox, who's going to explain. He's going to try to explain to you, the actual stakeholders in this community, what it is they've been doing for us. Let's hear it, Ron. Come on, tell us all about it.
In the two counties, a couple of those companies, as a result of our contacts and work with them, there were two companies that had expansion projects that we were able to assist with. Both, I think, were Enterprise on site, Crosscraft, which is in the process of another expansion to facility in North Valley, and then All Care Health, which is building that big facility up the street.
Now, hold on a second. I'm going to say it again. All Care. All Care is a CCO, a coordinated care organization. They get extra funds from the government to partner with other organizations in the area, including county government. So they've chosen to partner with the health department. Oh no, they're giving them money and help out of the goodness of their heart. Doctors.
Yeah, nobody does that, just so you know.
No. So
unless they've got a whole lot of money, you know.
We couldn't do this, and if it wasn't for all, probably there are things that they're, hey, God bless them. Thank you very much. But stop saying that they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. This is not the reason why it's happening. So you're not going to buy that stuff. You watch this show, of course you're not going to buy that. Okay, so yeah, he's been helping All Care, and helping them do what? What are they doing for them? Taking credit for their progress.
The next one is Relocate, and I provided in the packet a document that looks like this. We've sort of expanded the way we report to our board and other members on our business recruitment activity, which we've called now our Relocate Initiative. So what you have in front of you is sort of what we've defined as the 5 principal phases of business recruitment. First phase is our initial contact with a prospective business. Phase 2 usually involves an outreach to the company, maybe a visit. Phase 3 is a visit to Southern Oregon. Phase 4 is a second visit. And then phase 5 is usually the leasing of property or property in escrow. And then the final aspect of that is the announcement. So we've kept these records in the past, but we didn't keep them with quite as much detail as what we are now keeping. And it's been very informative for us, I think, myself, and the rest of the staff, as well as our board members. But in the course of the last 12 months, we generated 17 new business prospects that have come to us with an expressed interest in Southern Oregon. 6 of those came as a result of a special contract we entered into last year with a company called 310 Marketing. And our contract with 310 Marketing was for them to develop the contacts with 6 businesses that had defined interests in a relocation to Southern Oregon. And those companies are listed among those 17 companies. That's the first time we've used that type of an outreach contact effort. But I would say we had a very good experience with 310 last year. And we've actually entered into a new contract with them to conduct another outreach with a different set of companies. It's interesting, they make about 1,000 phone calls to corporate executives and companies.
Now, wait a minute.
You know what?
They make 1,000 phone calls.
They're not even doing their own work here. The only question that I want the answer to out of all the things he said about the phases is how many of the finalized things have you got? How many announcements have you made?
For Josephine County.
Yes.
For what are we getting for our 25,000? So let's think about the math on this for a second. Sorry to talk about math. Okay, if you make 100 phone calls and 6 companies come through, that's 6%. If you make he's not even making the calls. If this outfit makes 1,000 phone calls, that's 1/10 of 6%. Right?
Okay.
So 1/10 of 6% say they might be interested in moving to this region of the country. Wow, that's worth $25,000 in itself, right? Wrong.
Do we need to go any further on this? Okay, listen, commissioners, really, are you this stupid? I mean, you could do this yourself and get better results. If you want to bring people to this county and convince them this is a great place to do business, make sure they understand there's no place in Southern Oregon that's where the government is more off your back than right here in Josephine County. You do that, and you make deals with the federal and state government to give you the same sort of standoffish behavior, and you'll have to beat off the companies wanting to come in here with a stick. This is moronic.
These guys are subcontracting to an outfit that's making cold calls. Hello, Pink Floyd Enterprises? Which one's Pink?
Yeah, they're not doing their own work. I mean, we're paying them $25,000 a year. I just want to know, how many businesses have they brought in and have been established in Grants Pass in the last year, or Josephine County in the last year? What's that number, Dale?
Well, according to what I heard from this guy, that number would be a big round 0. But I need to listen to this a little bit more. Okay. Actually, it's kind of gone negative when you think about, company going out of business here recently, as we know. Okay. And that's not Ron Fox's fault.
Here, before we go on, I mean, I think we all know what my point of view on this is. You understand that there are some of the candidates that are running for commissioner right now that buy into this crap. Okay. They are stupid. You do not want to hire these people to be a commissioner because they believe in this crap, and it is crap. And I mean to say crap. That's what it is.
What exactly do you mean to say, Mike?
Yes, and do not hire anybody who voices the phrase economic development and starts referring to companies that are in economic development that they're going to be working with. That's a no right there. Boom, you're gone, because it's a false. This is just stupid. It's false. It's a fake. It's a scam, etc.
Well, see, I agree.
I hope I've been clear.
I think that you've been crystal clear. I agree with Mike. If you were going to spend any money at all on economic development, it should help all companies. But why are you spending any money at all on economic development? I personally think the best thing to do with the money, if it's true that we're in an emergency with law enforcement, and you know what our feeling is about that, both of us, what you should do is, since you say it's affecting the economic development in this area, then you take the economic development money, which they said they can spend on anything, instead of giving it to the children's branch of the library for economic development. I'm not for the wonderfulness of children. Okay, they're wonderful. But instead of giving it to them, you would give it to law enforcement, because you said that it's affecting economic development, right? That's what you say.
And the only reason why I agree with what Dale is saying right now, right here, is because of the fact that this economic development money, they have made clear in sessions there in the back room, we have this all on videotape, that you can spend economic development money on whatever you want to. Well, we have a crisis, a funding crisis in the public safety department. Good. Give that money to public safety. That is done. But
what's going to happen tomorrow? Sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I don't know. What I was saying is that if that weren't the case, what I'd be advocating for this economic development funny money to go to is to mitigating the encumbrance of government on all business that it does, and that is permits, applications, plan checks, all of that stuff would be subsidized by this economic development money coming in until the money is gone, and on a first come, first served basis. And that you want to talk about spurring economic development, that makes it happen. But this kind of stuff is stupid. It's just really dumb. But I can't wait to tell.
I suggested exactly this at a mining advisory committee. Why don't we cut back on the red tape? If you're going to spend money anywhere, put it into cutting back on the red tape. And you know the answer that I got.
Right. And here's an interesting thing, because I have suggested this at a weekly business session too. They poo-poo it. That's all you need to know. These people, if they're poo-pooing it, it's the right thing to do. It's very, very clear that the inclination of these people, the George Costanza rule, these people, when you get inside there and your brain gets all mucked up with I'm inside government mush inside your brain. The only way to get it out is to talk to somebody outside. What would you do? You do the opposite of whatever your inclination is. After you've been in there for about a year and you're destroyed, then you think, you get up and you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, what do I want to do today? Okay, I'm doing the opposite of that. That's really, that's the only way, because the things that these guys buy into, they never, ever work. So why don't you just do the opposite of that, which would be what I was talking about, or what Dale suggested. There have been a number of people, I think Sandy has suggested this, a number of people have suggested, mitigate the cost of government to people and you'll get economic activity. That's how it works.
Well, what happened when the city council decided there was a couple of businesses, they were playing favorites, a couple of businesses, they wanted to come into the area. What they did is they've got these SDCs. Shh, don't tell anybody they've got SDCs. No, I'm not talking about the STCs, SDCs, which is System Development Charges. They waived those, or they cut them way back. Well, guess what the result was? The companies came here. Ta-da! So then we don't have SDCs as far as the county is concerned, but where are the places where we can make it easier? We know mathematically that it works. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we doing it, Mike? That's the question to you, buddy. Why aren't we doing it?
I'll tell you why we're not doing it is because when you're inside government, there's something about freedom that doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel like, ooh, I'm not in control anymore. If they're free, then I don't have my thumb on them. And that's the opposite of what I want, you know, and that's being dramatic a little bit, but it is what happens. It is the inclination of government is to become bigger and for the octopus to grow more arms. You know, that's how government works. And so anything that we can do that is opposite of that ends up in more freedom and more capability and happiness on the part of the citizen. I truly believe that. I'm not spouting some talking point I read somewhere.
Let's take the same rule and apply it to the Job Council. They don't want to be called the Job Council anymore because the Job Council, which is not so ready, it's another organization. Of course, we have to work with them too. You would think from the name, the Job Council, what do you think they do? Well, they help people get jobs, but that wasn't working out for them because they weren't helping people get jobs. Now their funding from the county is in danger because they're not doing what their name says. So they changed their name. They changed their entire mission. Now their mission isn't to help people get jobs. No, no, no. Their mission is to take three-fingered ex-guys working in forestry and teach them computers. You now know computers. And now you can get a job. You can? Where? And how? Just because I know how to use a mouse doesn't mean I know computers. You have now learned Russian. No, you haven't.
Listen, government is not going to subsidize anything good. They just don't. They don't do that. They subsidize things that are wasteful and ineffective. That's what they do. And even if it was good to start with, as soon as they start subsidizing it, it starts to become wasteful and ineffective. So, you know, we'd be better off, you know, if we'd almost be better off if we almost didn't have any government and all of our public safety services were subcontracted from the people directly. You know,
well, at least you'd have somebody with a bottom line in mind that was supervising this money instead of what's happening now. What had happened with the Job Council was they moved in with the unemployment guys. Really? Now what they were saying, I'm not making this up. People walk in the door because they're unemployed. Well, as soon as they walk in the door, then the Job Council, which is no longer called the Job Council, would say, tick, a person came in. Ding, a person came in. Ding, a person come in. A pregnant lady comes in. Ding, ding. Right? So look at all the people that we have coming in. Well, how many are helping? Well, they went over to the other table, but I mean, they came in the door. Really? This is what they're doing. And we used to be able to watch them. I'd go to their meetings. You think I wouldn't? I'd go to their meetings. Well, they worked it out so that's nobody is going to be allowed from the general populace to go to their meetings because at the first meeting they had, I said, I have a question. Oh, yes, now is the time for public to ask questions. I'm the only person there. Okay, and I said, well, my question is, I know you don't create jobs, but how many jobs have you helped people get? Mm-hmm. Well, we're not prepared to answer that question, Mr. Matthews. So I was nice. I didn't say you're not prepared to answer that question. I said, well, might you be prepared to answer that question at your next meeting? Seemed reasonable to me. Yeah, maybe. So time goes by, about a year. I'm there. I said, I have a question. Mr. Matthews. I know that you don't create jobs, but how many jobs have you helped people get? Same exact answer, exactly the same words. Well, we're not really prepared to answer that question at this meeting. Well, perhaps you could ask at another meeting.
And you know what the greatest tragedy of this whole thing is, Dale? Is that you were the only one who ever asked them that question. They have got to hate Dale. They absolutely have to hate Dale Matthews because without him being at this meeting, asking that question, nobody would ask it, and your money would be continually thrown at these people with zero accountability.
Okay, so I'm going to put on another hat. Well, I don't wear a hat, but I'm going to put on another hat. Don't listen to this, Mike, because I don't want to offend anybody. Imagine, I'm just a member of the audience and I'm asking this question. Imagine if it was a county commissioner asking this question.
What? Why aren't they? Why aren't they? You know why? Because they're all George Costanza. That's why. Before the epiphany.
They are not going to be able to allow that. Can you imagine what would happen if you had a commissioner that would ask a question like that every once in a while? They'd go nuts. They cannot be asked these questions. Well, maybe
it's counter to the system.
We shouldn't be funding you.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, that's a threat.
I concur.
It's a threat.
And you know what? That's sad. It is a threat to those people. And the fact that their threats and what threatens them would be more important to the people who are representing us than doing what is best for us, that really ought to make you mad. And if you're not mad about it, it just means you're apathetic, and that's too bad.
Well, we don't want to be apoplectic about all this, but we've had enough of this smiling guy. We've had enough of this organization, in my mind. And go ahead.
Well, we never actually got to him saying much, except for a couple of little things that I went off on. I'm sorry to derail that. I'm sure he said. Right. I'm sure he said something substantive.
Yeah, do you really need to hear anything more? The whole meeting was like this.
I'm going to say something nice about So Ready. That's a cool logo. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, because it looks a lot like the Grants Pass, the new Grants Pass branding logo.
It does. There's no sun though. I think they should put a sun back there.
There is no sun for So Ready. Now look, here's what's going to happen tomorrow, Mike. What has happened to, what if the commissioners say that they're going to do with economic development money, or actually what are they not going to do with economic development money in the area of picking winners and losers? What have they sworn to us they are no longer going to do, Mike Jones?
That's a good question, Dale. I'm not sure about that. Please.
Well, they've sworn that they're no longer going to be handing out, no longer going to be picking winners and losers. They're going to hand it out to somebody like the Illinois Valley Community Development Organization, which is not handing out any of it.
Losers.
Yeah, but they're actually not doing it. But they're going to farm it out, and somebody else is going to do it. Right? They've sworn.
Yeah.
Now, but wait for the other shoe. The other shoe is tomorrow afternoon, 1:30, in the little back room. I'll be there. We'll tell you about it. They're having a fellow that's going to show up that wants economic development money, and he's going to get it. And the commissioners are going to give it to him because they're going to pick a winner and a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Or are they telling us? This is Cameron Camp. Cameron Camp has something called the IV Data Center. Okay, it's a wonderful project, but he wants money from the county, and he doesn't want it as a loan. I think it's going to turn out to be a gift from you to Cameron Camp. Cameron Camp is the guy. Well, when I first started doing this, I said, how can I get these videos out to more people? And I made a deal with Cameron Camp, and we did a website that looked a lot like badcounty.com. And it was originally going to be called, Wonderful Dale Matthews or something like that. And so we changed the name to something more generic because that's a stupid name, because what's really so wonderful. And after a while, he came to me and he said, really, I'm getting all this feedback from the commissioners, literally from Dave Toller. See, I name names, so that's a good thing. Saying, we don't want this. We don't want this. This is bad for the community. All these videos about what we've said. He says, but they're just playing. It's just playing what you said. Yeah, well, this is not good for the community. Dave, he's just playing what you said. There wasn't any commentary. It was just what they said because it was before this show. There was no commentary. Well, I don't like that. So he was getting a lot of feedback, especially from the business guys out in the Illinois Valley where he is. And so he came to me many times saying, well, I don't know about doing this. And I said, well, if you don't want to, okay. But I was supplying with endless videos of what the commissioners were doing. And and at one point he said, I've been given an invitation to join the Rotary Club. What do you think I ought to do? And I said, I think it's a great idea, because then you'll find out what's happening inside. He hadn't been there for more than a couple of months when he pulled the plug on the entire operation. He came to me and he said, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting so much feedback from people who don't like seeing the commissioners. This was without commentary. This was just videos of what they've been saying. And he came to me and he said, Dale, we can still be, I'm not making this up, secret friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's called you every day since then, right?
Yeah. Now, I'm generally polite. You may not think so, but I didn't say, I'll tell you what you can do with your secret friendship, but I didn't do that. I said, okay. Didn't shake his hand about it. But then he came to a subsequent meeting of the Board of County Commissioners and told them in public, in the Ambassador, that he hardly knows me. And it really wasn't about me and my videos at all. Where was he getting all this content? That's Cameron Camp. He's going to be there tomorrow, probably asking for a gift from you to him so that he can continue with this private enterprise. Because can he go to a bank? I don't know. Can he get it from the IVCDO? I don't know. He lives in the IV. That's their promise. That was their promise. That's their economic development. They're still doing it. And one more thing. Mm-hmm. When this guy showed up at the Board of County Commissioners meeting, I'm going to see if I can show this and pause it. Okay. When this guy showed up at this Board of County Commissioners, when I arrived, as has happened, I think this is the third or fourth time in a row, this fellow was in with the Board of County Commissioners, as usual, behind a locked door with a quorum, talking about county business. They have not learned that lesson either, Mike. It's illegal. We caught him at the end of the dais talking with Pat Fahey. Illegal. The state board, found them guilty of ethics violations. They have not learned that lesson. We cannot retrain these people. I've said it before. It's going to take 40 years in the desert before these old fossils die off. And then a whole new generation of people is going to have to take over, because they are not going to learn a lesson. This guy knows what the rules are, because I told him 2 times ago that you're not supposed to do that. You think they're going to listen to somebody like me? I'm just a citizen.
The problem, I like the theory of the, exiling them out in the desert for 40 years. We got a lot of space in Eastern Oregon for that. Probably work well. The issue is that you got new ones of these people sneaking into the system all the time. And, we've got rats and we've got decent people, and, the rats go where the rats go, and, they propagate, just like the good people do. And so listen, the only way to fix this thing as I see it, and this is just going to sound crazy radical, is I think you got to shut the whole thing down. And take it apart piece by piece. You fire everybody, hire one person at a time back. You got to have somebody decent in charge of doing that, and make sure that we never replicate this monster again. No more unions, no more PERS, no more, and this is a pipe dream. I get that. And people go, oh, he is so destructive. He wants to tear apart the government. He wants to rip it apart and shut it down. Yeah, I do. I think that would actually be constructive, because it wouldn't be 6 months later that you would have, just the core of what you needed. No superfluous stuff going on inside government, just the basic core functions, and people getting paid at wages that are, based on sanity. And, and listen, you could always, as a government, you could always revert to that, but you'd have to have willing participants inside that would be willing to do that. I doubt not at all that, that we could easily run this county on the money that we take in property taxes. We could educate our children on the money that we take in property taxes, and have completely sufficient, if not very good public safety on the money that we're paying in property taxes. But we aren't allowed to control the cost of government, and I keep flogging that. But I think it's a great point. And why do I have to give up my great point? Because somebody else, a whole group of other people, want to live out their retirement years on full salary and a yearly cost of living increase. Why is it that I'm the crazy person here, for suggesting what I just suggested, when what they're suggesting and what they're executing on a daily basis is the ever increasing burden of them to us. I just think that's wrong.
So I'm going to say something positive about somebody else.
Okay.
Okay. I've gotten a lot of feedback about this guy, Raymond Smith. Raymond Smith says exactly the kind of stuff that we say on the show. Exactly the kind of stuff we say on this show. Okay. But I've got a couple of people, his delivery is a little slow. And, he's not as dynamic as you two guys. Okay. Not as manic as you two guys. Really?
That's a better description.
This is the way, sorry, not our viewers, but this is the way some people are going to make their decision. Why, if he wore a tie, I'd be more likely to vote for him. Really? He's saying the same things that we're saying. And if you don't like any of these, okay, you've got plenty of candidates to choose from. But maybe you won't choose this guy because his delivery is a little slow. He's right on the money. And once it gets started, very much like Mike and I were at the very beginning of the show over 400 episodes ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Takes a little bit of time to get rolling, but once he's rolling, he's unstoppable, just like Mike. Okay. So here's my point. Please consider, if you want things to stay exactly the same they are with Rotary Club and So Ready, is there a difference? Then you've got plenty of choices, right? If you want some changes, you might need to look at what somebody's saying rather than their delivery method.
No.
Really?
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's been said a number of times by a number of different people that you'd be better off grabbing somebody up off the street and conscripting them into government service for a couple of years.
And that's what happened with Raymond Smith.
Yeah,
that's exactly how he got involved. Yeah, I was at a city council meeting, called the guy over. He comes up and he's like, and I said, would you vote for a grants pass sales tax? Well, no. I said, well, then you could be a city councilor. They didn't like that. The mayor especially hated me for saying that. And then I said, you should, since he's not in the city, you should run for county commissioner. The next day he went out and registered to run for county commissioner. Now, I didn't know that much about the guy's background. The more we know about it, he agrees just like you do, watching the show, with everything that we say. So listen, I'm going to ask you, I just talked with someone today, said, I talked to my neighbors. I'm doing what you guys say. Thank you for talking with your neighbors. Thank you for talking to your neighbors. Okay. Would you please talk to your neighbors, talk to yourself, look in the mirror, talk to yourself and say, the fact that this guy needs to maybe speed up a little, I think he does too. But the fact that's the least of our worries. Is he going to lie? Is he going to cheat? Is he going to break the law and say, I know we're breaking the law and I don't care? No, he's not going to do that. So listen to what people have to say. Listen carefully to what Tony Webb is saying. and Joseph Rice when he comes out, and Bill Hunker, who's been on the show. Listen carefully to what Lily Morgan is saying. Who is backing Lily Morgan? Are they property tax guys? They all are. Okay. And she comes from that area as well. And she's always back to property tax. Okay. So if that's what you want, why, you got it. Go with the pretty girl that's got the glib tongue. Okay. You can do that. I like her, but I don't like her stand on the issues. And you can look at all this stuff and then you can decide why I want a new and invigorated So Ready. Well, you got it, buddy. It's your choice.